two, one. So I witnessed a truly tragic, somewhat horrifying situation today in downtown Salt Lake City. I was invited to go to a homeless abatement, a homeless camp abatement. This was a camp that had been around for about 4 months in downtown Salt Lake City. It was just west of the Gateway on about, I'd say, 7th West and about 230-ish south. It was on Union Pacific property and city property. These poor homeless people were camped out there. They had their tents. There was a few trailers where people were living out of. And these people just wanted to live, They just wanted to have a place where they could put their things, because they couldn't afford housing or they couldn't qualify for housing. We've been reporting on this now for the past few weeks. We have 7,500 homeless individuals. We're not accommodating them all in shelters. I was invited to go there by our guest who was on last week named Robin Pendergrass. And I went down and I captured a lot of images and I captured some interviews, and I'm going to share those with you today. But I just want to say that, we live in this world of abundance. I don't think there is any lack of land. I don't think there's any scarcity of food. I think that what's going on here is that our mayor and our state legislature, they have priorities. And their priorities are to protect their investments. And protecting investments of the development projects in downtown, protecting the investments of the people who are keeping them in office. And that is their priority, because we could absolutely solve this problem and have it solved, I believe, in as short as 6 months if the political will and the initiative were there to solve the problem. And I believe that we could create a groundswell with this type of coverage. I think if more people got behind sharing, liking, subscribing, going and witnessing for yourself these abatements, getting to know homeless people, we could get downtown Salt Lake City, once again, the people who are there off the streets into places where they can call home. Because this is ridiculous that this is happening in a state, in a city, with a church that has $100 billion in their bank account right now. We reported on that about a year ago. We have a city and a state which is a booming economy. We have so many jobs here. We have an abundance of open space too. And I spend time biking around downtown on my electric bike, and I get this footage, and I just go back out to my suburbs and I see all this land everywhere where there could be a tiny home community or a safe place for these people to go. But there is not the political will, and there is not enough groundswell of public participation. And I think that my call to action for you is turn off the national news. There's nothing you can do about that. There's nothing you can do about January 6th or Roe versus Wade or these big headlines that everybody wants to have you follow. But there is something you can do about what's going on in your own backyard. And my call to action to you is get engaged, get involved, go meet some homeless people, talk to your mayor, your city council members, your state legislature. Local politics is where it's at. And that's what Utah Stories is about. So without further ado, I'm gonna stop talking. I want to show you this incredible footage I captured today. Just a warning, it's really tragic, it's really sad, but still, I think everybody should see this. We ready, Chris? So can you tell me how many times you've been through this?
25.
25.
Easy.
Wow.
In 1 year.
And you're one of the people who kind of helps direct where people are going to go and how they're going to, how long.
So I kind of got fed up last year, being pushed like 7 times in one day. To where we were being pushed off the actual sidewalks. So, and that's horrific. So I decided that I wasn't going to settle for that no more. I started that big camp Fort Pioneer. Once I started Fort Pioneer, we started originally over here.
For those of you who are live
We're
streaming
back
with
there
me,
now.
this is Stacy.
We started
She
Fort
was
Pioneer.
the one who managed
we had
Fort
300 people in that
Pioneer,
camp. And it was
which
a really great
is what
camp,
we
and,
covered quite
contractor from Belize was
extensively
awesome.
back in
And,
January, and then we
there was a
revisited
horrific
it
takedown.
again
It was really bad.
about March.
And I can't. I just don't have it.
She doesn't want to be the leader,
I feel like
but all these
There's
homeless
too many
people
people
look
relying
up
on me
to
not
her because she's
Too many people what?
articulate.
relying on me.
She's
They're relying on me.
she's actually friendly.
Where
with
do you
the
guys
police.
plan on going
You
after
know, the
this?
police are not
like
the
I said,
bad
we're gonna
guys.
go
They're
upstairs
just there
and,
doing their
from there,
job.
Side-
You can
the
say
coast-
that's
the
the
coast
same
head
thing
field.
Oh,
with
goat's
the health
head right here.
department. They're
And
just
then
there
from there,
doing
we're
their
gonna
job.
decide
They're ordered to do this kind of thing.
Where they're gonna go.
This is
and
a
we'll-
pregnant
we're
lady
gonna stand up and
who,
fight again, or
she's 6 months
just really
pregnant.
try not to
She
be there.
didn't want to.
This is all by order of Mayor Mendenhall. What would you
really
say to her right now?
So, Mayor,
what's
you
going
are
on
really just doing
in the
too much.
situation.
You know we've had our problems.
But you can see behind
And
Stacy
you're a liar.
here,
You lied to me about a
all
lot
these
of
people
things,
are
so that's not
ordered to
okay.
get rid of their things, and they're
But this is really ridiculous. Come on.
before the
We
front
can't.
end
There's
loader shows
there's
up
no way
and
we can
just
get any housing.
bulldozes
No
all
way.
their
Please
stuff.
stop.
And
Please stop.
this is
Please.
where
The
she's
last
telling
time,
me
please.
her message to Mayor
What does she
Mendenhall.
lie to you about?
She came to my last
what
camp and said she would
would
obey
say
me.
to
She
Mayor
did.
Mendenhall.
She
She
said that
says,
Fort Pioneer?
"You lied to me.
She said she wasn't
You
going to
told
abate
me
it?
A week
this-
before she did.
that Fort
Oh, really?
Pioneer was
Yes,
not
she came
going
there and
to
told
be
me how
abated."
lovely it was.
And then a
How
week
she
later,
can go for structured camping, but she would not
she,
by any
like
means
Mayor
abate it.
Mendenhall went down to Fort Pioneer.
You had
She-
sanitation. In
She just
place,
had it abated. She
dumpsters,
had the whole camp
generators,
dismantled.
warming
Everything was thrown
RV.
away. All the
Everything
work
was
put
great.
into
Supplies,
building
everything.
Nobody
a
was
safe
complaining?
sanitary
We had no
system.
complaints.
What was their
This is
reason behind
footage
debating it?
That's from January of Fort Pioneer. This was a warming trailer
But that was
where
something
homeless
they
people
had.
could go
They
warm
had
up,
to.
and these
They had to
camps
come
are
up with a
reason.
not pretty, but people were there.
300
staying
people were
warm.
there.
300 people.
And the good thing
cooking,
about
they
it
were
was
fixing
you're
their
not
bikes.
in Main Street.
And according to
You're not
Stacy,
on the
and
you're
we
not
had
on the
every
thoroughfares.
every at our camp had a job on
had
camp,
jobs.
and we had
They were
50
going
plus
to.
people who had
So
jobs
people
off
were
camp.
getting
50 plus
themselves
people.
back on their feet slowly.
Because they felt safe and stable enough to
And
be able to
this
come
is the
home to
view
their
of
house, their
Fort Pioneer
tent,
Freeway.
and their stuff is still there.
And
And,
January.
Get up and get ready for work the next day.
And so, what my
That's a
question
big
is
issue. That's
where
not
should
a
these
mistake.
people go now? I kept asking
my
that
station
of the
Wi-Fi
police
never-
officers
never
and
she's
the
in the
public
kitty
safety or the
So,
health department folks.
that's
And
when
they
my
have no
husband was
answer.
over with
You
back
know,
issues, and
they
there's
say,
issues,
oh, go to the
there's
homeless
options, there's
shelters.
situation, we
The
can't
shelters
steer
are
around here, 'cause
full.
that's something we do.
There's no space in the shelters. And
However, it doesn't matter.
she's
We're
saying
here
that
together. It
the
doesn't
next
matter
place they're
if
going to
it's
go
athletics,
to
or if it's
is
or whatever.
another field that's
We're all in
about
this together.
a quarter mile away. And
This is unacceptable.
police are going to have to come there again. And so this is
The-
actually
the
a
only thing
perpetuating
that I
cycle.
hear homeless advocates say
It's
is
like
you
they'll
could get
create a
into a
camp,
shelter right now. Is
They'll
that
make
true?
a big mess
So
because there's
if
no
there's rooms
dumpsters.
available in the shelter,
The guy who I had on
husband
my
and I would be separated,
program,
and we
who
have our
invited me to go, Robin
So
Pendergrass,
we've had
he
for
said
our whole
he
lives.
had
You know, we're
ordered
not willing to do that.
two giant
but only that, I
dumpsters
was
to be
attacked
brought out so
and
that
bitten
people
by a
could throw
female
away
in the
their
shelter
garbage.
all over my face.
And he'd
hands.
also
It was
ordered
horrific.
porta potties.
Inside of a shelter.
Yes,
And
it's
the
happens
city told
all
them
the time.
to
It's
stand
actually
aside,
that's not okay.
don't worry about it, we got it covered.
That's
And
unacceptable.
they
What
didn't
was
want
wrong
the
with this
dumpsters,
woman
they
who
didn't want the
attacked you?
porta potties.
She was just mentally
This
ill.
abatement effort was
so a lot of
already
mentally ill people
scheduled.
who
Those are
can't
the
be
main
Robin
ones.
was there with me
The
today.
main ones in the shelter are the mentally ill.
And
yeah.
They're
I'll be
really bad
showing
mentally.
more of this footage.
Well, I went
This
to the
gentleman
Gerald E.
here, this
King
Native
shelter.
American guy, his
There's
name's
a lot of
Carl.
mentally ill ladies outside
He
of
is
the
such a
shelter
cool guy.
who
He's
got
helping
kicked out.
these homeless
Yeah, that's
people
what
move their stuff.
At the
Yeah.
shelter.
Just
That's-
totally
and the shelters
voluntarily.
aren't always
He's making room
the
so he
answer.
can pull in his truck and his
There
trailer,
are people that have been in shelters
and
for years. And they just are
actually
in the
help
shelters,
these
so it
people
doesn't matter.
move their
Is this
belongings
more of a
out to the
housing
next
crisis
place
or
where
a
they can
mental
go.
health crisis?
So
This is
this
more
is
of a
his-
housing crisis that
his
turns
truck.
into a mental health crisis.
Yeah.
And Stacy was
And how much would you say
talking still
drugs
more about
plays a
how
part in
they just
causing
want
People do
a
more drugs
camp.
out here than
They
they do in
want a
their
place
homes
to camp.
to cope with
They
the
don't want to go
situation.
into shelters. She has a really
Absolutely.
excellent
I need to
reason
be sober
why
out
she
here.
doesn't want to go to the shelter, which
First of all, to me,
is
it's
she had her face chewed up by
It's
some
too hard. You have to-
crazy
everybody
person
has
at
to
the shelter.
mentally be able to cope.
She has these marks on her face, and she said some psychotic
Out here they call it
individual
Yeah.
just started attacking her, and she
So
got
what's the
all
next-
these terrible
What's the
marks
next
on her
step that
face
you'd like to see
from
happen? Just a place
that
where you can
person
camp? Or?
just brutally
so far,
attacking
structure
her.
camping for these
And so she's
people,
not going to go back to a shelter.
close
I
to services,
absolutely
because
believe
we have a
her
lot of
story
people
is
that
true,
serve on a regular
because when
basis.
I went to the
So that
Geraldine
means that we
King
need to be
shelter,
close to the services.
there were women outside ranting who were
So this
obviously
would be
Structure
perfect
camping.
if they
This
just
would be
let you
ideal.
stay.
And if they would
I
help us
wouldn't-
with porta
I wouldn't
potties and
feel safe
trash,
there either.
this would have been ideal. We could have trained them. And the reason there was so much violence and stuff here
Check
is because
this
we moved into
out.
that.
If you're not joining us
because
on the
we were
live
here before
stream,
Bridge Net.
I'm going to
When I
have
came,
the
we
whole
tried to
clip.
cover
You
it.
can watch
KOH
this
and
sound.
SO.
This
Everyone
is
who's
really
not
interesting,
holding
though. I want to point out what happened.
Start heading this way.
So I'm
Okay.
I'm there filming,
Yeah.
and this other
the health department. We're
front end loader, this man, yeah, we're out of the way. The guy's like, oh, this is a public safety hazard. I can see you guys are in the way. You need to move out of the way and go back behind our police barrier. And there's all these people there.
I just want
There's,
to point out
there's
what's
all these
happened
people,
here.
but we
We're
can't
with the
film what's
media,
going on any longer.
And this is Gigi.
This
She's filming
woman's
a
name
documentary.
is Gigi.
And
She's actually
we were just
filming a
hurried
documentary film.
over here,
And I was
and
like,
while
have you
everybody
ever
else can
done
be
this
over
before?
there.
Is this normal?
Is this happening
that where
before?
they make it so you can't
This has
film?
not happened to me before.
And she says,
I haven't been to
no, this doesn't really make sense because we're the media.
Yeah,
There's all these other people on the other side there. They're there. It's not, if it's not safe,
Everyone who's
they
not
shouldn't be
holding
allowed to be there either.
can
So
go
why are
back
we
in
kicked out?
and do
So I couldn't get the really,
Is that awful? Do you know?
most tragic shots
This-
of these
I know
people
that this
trying to get their
property
stuff out
belongs
before they get
to
bulldozed. And those
the
shots, obviously,
railroad.
I got maybe one of
I'd
them.
assume they'd probably
But
say
I
we're
could
doing
have
an
sat
investigation.
there for a good 30 minutes and got these shots, and so could have she, who's
In
trying
terms
to
of the
film a
actual
documentary.
legality, I would
And we'll cut this now.
have some serious questions.
But how this really feels to me is we live in the United States of America. This is supposed to be the most free country on earth. We're supposed to be compassionate of the poor. And I think what it is really is we need a slum to exist in Salt Lake. There needs to be an acceptable slum. And we don't want to accept that that's the condition that people are finding themselves in. We have an elite upper class here in Utah. We have some of the richest people in the United States. We have a massive number of millionaires in Utah, and a lot of money is flowing in downtown Salt Lake City. And as I mentioned earlier, the church has $100 billion in their bank account, and it's all just for show. It's all just like, we need to show the world how amazing this place is. We need to show everybody that the LDS church is in Salt Lake City is this shining city on a hill, and nobody's poor. Everybody has opportunity. But the reality is that we need to have a slum. We need to have a place, a shanty town, a camp, anything, any place where these people can just go and like Fort Pioneer was, go and have their stuff be safe, get into jobs, get enough money set aside so they can get into housing. But the city is absolutely preventing this from happening. And it's a despicable state of affairs that I'm witnessing. And the really sad thing was there was no other local media there. It was me and her. Eric Peterson from the Investigative Journalism Project was there for a little while. Robin Pendergrass is a national media guy. He was there. But where is the local media? Where's the Salt Lake Tribune, the Deseret News, KUTV News, Fox 13? They were not there because I suppose if the police aren't going to let them have that money shot, what are they going to put on the 6 o'clock news? Just people hauling their crap away, saying yet another police abatement. And the health department guy who was there, he said this was about the 50th time he had done this. But it's despicable, it's shameful, it's tragic. I just can't believe it's happening. But with that, I hope that you will share this episode, like the video, and become a part of what's going on here. You can be involved in what's going on here, and I think if more people are just simply involved, this could stop. This could totally end now, and we could get these people into a camp. They could get jobs. They could get off the streets, and then we could manage these resource centers, which as far as I saw, the Gerald E. King Center, it's a total disaster. That's another major underreported story out there. So with that, thank you so much for watching. I will see you next time. Please chime in on the comments too. I really love getting the comments. I think next episode we're going to read a bunch of your comments. So keep them coming. Thank you so much for your support. I'll see you next time. Are you able to play the music?